Foley sound is the reproduction of sound effects in film, video and other post-production to enhance audio quality. They were first developed in films in the 1940s. Hi, I'm Alex Emmett and this is History of Foley Sound in Films.
Okay, because now you can see that I'm talking and then you can ask your questions and I'll answer.
What is the first film you used Foley sound in?
My first film that I used Foley sound in was probably my college short film, which was called Sarah. And within that, there was a scene in which I had to break a mug. And when we dropped the mug, we tried breaking it a number of times and it just didn't quite sound right when we broke it. So in order to get a really dramatic breaking sound, we ended up changing that mug for a china mug and taking it outside and smashing it against the concrete. And that way then it created a very over-the-top dramatic smashing sound, which worked in the film.
Why did you start using Foley sound?
It's more out of a necessity to make sure that you're developing your work further. Foley sound is about making sure that your work sounds as professional as possible. And for me, for film, it's visuals and sound are just as important as each other, not one over the other. So for me, in terms of developing my filmmaking, it was a case of I had to make sure that I was using the professional techniques, and Foley sound was one of those techniques.
What are some benefits for using Foley sound?
So the benefits of using Foley sound is just about having control, really, and also by developing your film world even further. So if I was to go out on a shoot and I was to film on a location and wanted to record every sound possible, I could be there for weeks filming on that location to get that one scene. Whereas if I go onto location, I'll record the most important thing that I need, which is the dialogue, and I'll record a wild track, and then I'll go into the studio and we can layer in those Foley sounds in order to develop that scene further and make it sound more natural.
What is the hardest Foley sound noise you have to make?
Probably the two hardest ones I've actually had to do are actually more to do with bodily functions than anything else. So one of those is someone having a pee in the toilet, and the other one being someone being sick. Now, with the person being sick, we ended up trying lots of different things. We tried pouring water onto the floors to get that nice splatter effect, and that didn't quite work. We've tried soup, that didn't quite work. We ended up with a tin of mushy peas mixed in with oil, which gave it a really nice splatter effect when it hit the floor, but also gave it a sort of lumpy feeling to it as well. So, and that was then achieved by just pouring it from one container into another.
What's the most common noise you make in films?
Probably the most common one is footsteps. Footsteps and clove passing is probably the most important one. Clothes, the rustling of clothes as you walk, you need to be able to hear the sound of someone walking and their clothes rub. So it's probably those and footsteps are probably the most common ones. That's fine. Press stop.
In conclusion, we have spoken to Dan, who is a Foley sound professional, and we have learnt the history of Foley sound.